in the old days, what we used to say is, oh, I don't like it. We better stop that. That's no good for me. Whereas in ACT, we say, okay, this is uncomfortable and I'm going to keep moving forward. I love the word and. I've got a tummy ache and I'm going to go to school.
Yes.
I failed my maths test. I think I'm a big failure and I'm going to study for the next one.
Yeah.
So it's the noticing, it's the mindfulness, it's the willingness to move forward in that direction. And of course, what we said in last week's episode, in order to have that willingness, you have to have established why it's valuable to you. What does a valuable and meaningful life look like for me?
Hi, I'm Dr. Jodi Richardson, and this is Well, Hello Anxiety. In a world that often moves too fast, we're here to pause, breathe, and understand anxiety together. Each episode will explore practical strategies, share honest conversations, and uncover the science behind anxiety and well-being, all while creating a space where it's okay to not be okay. Let's continue this journey together. Welcome back to part 2 of my conversation with Jodie Wassner. Jodie is the principal psychologist of Curious Kids Psychology, and she is an author. She is an expert when it comes to using ACT, acceptance and commitment therapy, in her work with young people, and she has a particular passion for working with young people who are neurodivergent as well. So we're picking up from where we left off. If you haven't heard part 1, please either join us now for this part of the episode or head back and listen to last week's episode first. But we are picking up from where we were talking about the ways that we can help young people to relate to what they're thinking in a different way, rather than getting sort of caught up in their worries and finding evidence to dispute it, or is it true, or the shoulds and the coulds and the would-ofs and could-ofs and the what-ifs and the like. So, Jodie, I wonder if for parents listening who are thinking, I really like this, and I wonder if there are some ways that in their parenting life they can start to bring their children's attention just over the weeks and months and years over parenting life, some of the phrases or language that parents might use to kind of help their children recognise that they're having a thought and that they're experiencing their worry habit, or their worry habit has come back, or if they've named their brain Brian's got a lot to say at the moment. What are some of the things that parents might be able to kind of start to pepper the conversations with over the years to help kids think about the way they think differently?
Look, I think there's lots of ways we can do it, but I would also suggest that before parents do that, they probably need to spend a little bit of time connecting with the young person. And as we sort of spoke about in the last podcast, that often the things that parents say can be perceived as being dismissive to kids. So if a young person says, I'm really worried about going to this party tomorrow, and often parents will, well-meaning, will say things like, oh, but your friends are going and, you love swimming and, blah, blah, blah. We try and jolly them along. And the impact of that is the young person can feel dismissed, or that they're broken in some way. Well, everyone else can go to the party happily. What's wrong with me? So before we start pointing out to the young person, this is your worry habit, or this is anything, before we do that, we need to spend a little bit of time going, hey, I know this is scary for you. And really just acknowledging, I know this is hard. Is there anything I can do to help you? And this is for therapists and teachers and parents. And so once that we've got that connection with the young person where they know, mum understands, she knows this is hard for me, she's got my back, mum's going to read my capacity, she's not going to push me to do something that's too hard for me, she's going to support me at the level I'm at. In all honesty, and through no fault of parents, more through the fault of Western society that we've been taught that that's what we should be doing. But once you've spent weeks, possibly months, really letting your kid know that, yeah, I get it, I can see this is hard for you, then we can start doing that challenging cognitive work. And for those of us who are psychologists, we know with any type of cognitive work, we don't dive in too early. We have to get that relationship first, because if you dive in too early, the person can feel as though you're making fun of them, or, you don't get it. So once we have that connection, then we start talking about the process. So one of the expressions we love to use in ACT is this something your mind is telling you? So instead of the worry being fused with me and this thought is true, we say, oh, is it just something your mind is telling you? And this is an ACT concept that's called self as context. And it's that idea, sometimes with kids, I say, I want you to imagine a mini version of yourself looking on your shoulder and noticing what's going on in your brain. Cognitive diffusion is a really important ACT principle. And sometimes I explain it to kids through, I start off with fusion, because a lot of the kids know what fusion is because they see it in cartoons. So things are fused together really tightly. And sometimes thoughts can really be fused up in our head and really make us feel stuck and they must be true. And when we defuse the thoughts, we're not, I'm doing a hand movement here that I know the listeners can't see, but imagine my fists are really clenched together. And when we defuse, I just loosen my fingers ever so slightly. So the thoughts are still there, the feelings, the difficulties are still there, but they've got a little bit of room to move. And they're not holding us so firmly that it's preventing us from going towards what's important to us. And that is the essence of ACT. The reason we want to loosen the thoughts is not so we can feel less anxious. It's so we can manage our anxiety at a level that we can still do the stuff I want to be doing as a 12-year-old kid. Because
anxiety is just such a roadblock, isn't it? When you're so anxious and you feel all those bodily sensations and your heart is racing and everything in your head is saying, just don't do the thing. This feels so awful. If I don't do it, if I just pull back, turn around, go home, don't go and approach that potential lovely new friend, I'll feel better. But it comes at such a cost, doesn't it? It certainly does. And I think if we approach something hard and as we're almost there, we kind of go, oh, I can't do it. We turn the other way. The first feeling that shows up is relief. Yes. Which feels really nice. Yes. And then I can go in my little marshmallow bubble and do what feels nice for me. And that feels really good. And so turning away from something hard benefits us in the short term. But then what happens is you get a few minutes, a few hours, a few weeks, I really want to make friends. And all of those difficult feelings come up again. And we start to think, all right, can I approach them again? And how do we get the courage? This is what we call getting caught in a stuck loop. We go back, we turn back because it was too scary. We try again, we turn back. And once we recognize that stuck loop, so again, this is language parents can use. I've noticed this is something that's important to you and you're moving towards it because it's important to you, but you keep getting caught in that stuck loop. And I often will draw, I wish I had a whiteboard here. Yes, me too.
But use your imagination, everybody. Okay. So I want you to imagine an arrow, just a straight arrow going horizontal. Yeah. And at one end we have towards, moving towards what's really important to me. And the other end we have away. And at the towards end we have our values. So in this example, I'd really, really like to make friends, right? And so that's where we're heading. And so we start to move along the arrow towards what we really want. And what invariably is going to happen if something's really important to you is hard stuff will show up in the form of anxiety, difficult thoughts, and they can be really, really loud. Yes. Now, here's the bad news. A lot of kids say to me, can't I just go around the circle and get to the other side? Well, you can't. There's no way. You can't go under it. You can't go over it. You have to go through it. Yeah. So that's where we have the distress tolerance strategy. So that chunk that's getting in the way, that circle that's got all the difficult thoughts and feelings, how can we move through it? Yes. Are you willing to have these difficult thoughts and feelings in the service of what's truly important to you? I can't remove it from you. Yes. And sometimes as parents, we try to remove all the anxiety stuff, like, right, I'll make sure that this person's not there and I'll give you this backup. So we remove all the anxiety before we put you into the situation. But that doesn't help. No. We need to be able to carry that anxiety with us and go, you know what, I'm going to do it anyway. It makes me think of all of the examples as parents we can draw on where we've seen our kids do that before in other contexts, whether it be sport,
if they love their sport and they're really comfortable in their sporting pursuits, they'll train, they'll sweat, they'll experience pain and discomfort of the physical variety when they're working towards building their skills. And so, do you use examples like that? Do you help young people to kind of make those connections, or is that not something that proves helpful? Is it really just the kind of like, well, yeah, that's that, but this is this, and this is very different?
I think it's a great example of how we can do something hard, because sometimes we sort of think, well, I can't, it's impossible. So, hey, this is something hard that you did do last time. What helped you to get there? And I'm returning to what we talked about last week, which is there has to be buy-in. Yeah. Like, they have to want to do it. And I know I said this last week, but I have to emphasize it, that I cannot begin to tell you how many parents are saying, why isn't my kid doing it? And we realize it's the parent's goal.
Yes.
I had one the other week. Actually, this wasn't mine. This is one that came up in supervision, that the mum was saying, I just want to be able to go out for dinner, or my friends can go out for dinner. My kid won't let me go out for dinner. And so she was asking me to do an exposure thing so the child could tolerate a babysitter. But when I spoke to the young person, no buy-in, no interest. No, I don't care if mum goes out for dinner.
Really?
Yeah. So we had to sort of, well, for now, we've had to get mum to drop the expectation about going out for dinner.
Yes.
And that's a future goal. That's okay.
Yes.
But that's a should mum had.
Yes.
I should be able to go out for dinner. And as much as I'd love mum to go out for a lovely dinner and have a break, when we're looking at behaviour change, we need to see where the value is for the young person.
Yes.
And you know what? That's parenting sometimes, isn't it? We have to pause. We work towards it. We're definitely not giving up on it.
Yes.
But if it's all about this young person being able to be at home alone without mum, maybe we can make it happen in the next few weeks, but we have to find something, how it's worthwhile for that young person.
Yes.
To let mum go.
Without bribery.
Yeah. And look, and maybe it is bribery. I don't know. But I think the important point here is we can't just expect that kid we can't take that kid in the therapy room and expect them to suddenly be okay with mum going out for dinner.
It. Yes. It's akin to saying to a random adult that you can run in the 100-metre race at the Olympics. You've just got to do all this work. And like, I don't want to run in the Olympics. I don't want to do the work. It's like, it's not my, it's not my thing. It's not my jam. It's like, makes sense. Like we will all work and persevere through challenges towards valued goals. And
yes.
And that you've really reinforced that. And I appreciate that you have, because that's a really important first step, is to what is important to the child. And it's probably a clear sign that if there's been work done and support given, but there's no traction, there's no movement, there's no forward kind of progress, then it's probably good to sort of go back and think, well, hang on, who is this important to? Yeah, hard conversations though. And
that is the essence of ACT. Yes. And guess what? It gets harder. You want to know why?
Yes.
All right. So eventually we get the parents in on this strategy.
Yes.
And then they're worried about the grandparents and their friends and all of their shoulds.
Yes.
And so, you make a decision as a family. You know what? I'm going to listen to my young person's needs.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to read where their capacity is to handle something anxiety provoking.
Yeah.
And then you've got other people saying, well, that's soft parenting. And often people can perceive the approach as being overly permissive. And it's not. What it is it's really getting in touch with what your young person's capacity is.
Yes.
And this is essential for their mental health. And we know from decades of studies that if we push kids to do things that are beyond their capacity, then the mental health will suffer. Yeah. And as you know, I work a lot with neurodivergent populations, and often we put neurotypical shoulds onto them, right? They should be able to my favorite is sitting still at the dinner table.
Okay, yes.
A lot of neurotypical kids can't do that. But our society says to us, you might have a should. Well, good families all sit together at the dinner table and have interesting conversations. But if you've got a neurodivergent family where you've got a kid with ADHD who can't sit still, you've got a kid with ARFID or another eating disorder for whom being at the table is really anxiety provoking. If you force them to sit at the dinner table, that's going to impact their mental health and it's going to be stressful. And let me tell you, that is not a good family experience.
No, it's
And so I work a lot
disconnection.
with families, getting them to accept and change it. But then we go over to the grandparents' house or the friends, and then the parents get the judgment for you're not strict enough.
Yes.
And it's really hard to advocate for your kid and say, you know what, I'm reading what my kid needs. I'm doing it for them. And it's really hard suffering the judgment of others.
It is, and it's a long game, isn't it?
It is.
It's day by day, meal by meal, if that's the challenge. Yep. And yes, and we do care about the people we care about and what they think of us. And so when you are working with families, I guess it depends on the age of the child as to how much you're working with the parents, doesn't it?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
You know, I think for neurotypical kids, you know, we start to fade out over the teenage years.
Yeah.
Neurodivergent kids, the parents are on board the whole time. And I think that's because I feel like I really want to clarify this. I think there's a misconception that neurodivergent kids have so many troubles because they are neurodivergent.
Yeah.
Whereas the reality is being neurodivergent is a really legitimate way to perceive and interact with the world. But if you're neurodivergent living in a world that's set up to give great advantage to neurotypicals, then it's going to be really hard for you. So some of the mental health difficulties and behavioral problems that come through our therapy room when we work with neurodivergent families, it's because of that mismatch.
Yes.
So if we can help neurodivergent families advocate for themselves and find their own accommodations and try not to worry about neurotypical shoulds, then the mental health outcomes are so much better, infinitely better.
Yes, and there's a genetic link with neurodivergence in families, is there not?
Yes.
And so the benefits are for the whole family, inevitably, if there's a parent who is a late diagnosis, which we're seeing a lot of. And so, yeah, it's a real gift. You're such a gift in the way that you work and the approach that you take and your generosity here with us. And I do want to go back to something you said before about the distress tolerance, because I know that's, you know, yesterday I did some contrast therapy with a friend. I did 10 minutes in a sauna and 1 minute in an ice bath and then 10 minutes in the sauna. And while I'm in the sauna, I'm like, get me into that ice bath. And while I'm in the ice bath, I'm like, get me into that sauna. It was so uncomfortable. It was all I wanted to do was run away. And of course, you know, this is a physical example of discomfort, not psychological and emotional, but it isn't easy, no matter the discomfort that we're experiencing, whether we do it to ourselves or not. But we really are choosing discomfort. We're choosing that road less travelled when we are seeing what our goals are. We've got a young person who feels very anxious, but it's important. They want to be able to move forward, but they are feeling distressed. Discomfort tolerance, how do you help young people to tolerate it? Are there any ideas you can share with us today about kind of the things that seem to make a difference for young people?
Yeah, so look, I mean, no one likes being uncomfortable. Look, I think it depends on what we're trying to do. So there's a few ACT strategies that we use. So another ACT principle that I haven't mentioned is mindfulness. And this is not necessarily meditation. This is noticing in the moment, right? So we can pause and notice, okay, my heart's racing here. It's uncomfortable. I don't like it. We don't have to like it. Yeah. You know, in the old days, what we used to say is, oh, I don't like it. We better stop that. That's no good for me. Whereas in ACT, we say, okay, this is uncomfortable and I'm going to keep moving forward. I love the word and. I've got a tummy ache and I'm going to go to school.
Yes.
I failed my maths test. I think I'm a big failure. And I'm going to study for the next one.
Yeah.
So it's the noticing, it's the mindfulness, it's the willingness to move forward in that direction. And of course, what we said in last week's episode, in order to have that willingness, you have to have established why it's valuable to you. What does a valuable and meaningful life look like for me?
It is. Listeners will know why, you know, this is such a powerful approach to making change, and it's lifelong change, isn't it? The time, and I know it does take time in therapy sessions with young people. It really does. But can you tell us what sort of successes you've seen? I know you obviously can't share anything personal, of course, nothing that would identify anybody. And I know you also, because you now have your full clinical books, but also you do a lot of supervision. So you're supporting other therapists to be able to learn from your expertise and bring that into their work. But what are some of the challenges a couple of young people have overcome with this kind of approach it might inspire anyone listening who's feeling like they're in the trenches at the moment and they can't see any light?
Yeah. Gosh, I'm thinking back to a boy, he's probably 20 now.
Yes.
But he was about 9 when I saw him, a gorgeous little boy, and he was terrified of the wind. So he, every time there was a little bit of wind outside, he was scared there was going to be this giant tornado.
Oh.
And so as the days went by, he started spending his lunchtimes in the school reception office. When he got home, he had this little routine that he did about how he jumped out the car quickly and then he'd go into the study because he felt that was the most sheltered room. He had all the blinds down. And we were working for a long time. And so we love metaphors in ACT. So I created a metaphor in his honor, which I still use today in my training.
Yeah.
And I call it the Wizard of Oz metaphor because I am a massive musical theatre fan.
Me too.
Anything for Dorothy. So the metaphor goes something like this. I get them to picture that scene in Kansas where the tornado is coming into town.
Yeah.
And Auntie Em and Uncle Henry and the farmhands, they go into that safe basement. They lift up the hatch and they go under there and they wait there. So then I'll say, what do you think's inside that basement? What's in that little underground hutch? Oh, nothing. It's probably dark and muddy and soil. There's probably nothing there. What if they were super organized? Could there be something else there? Well, they might have some bottled water, some tins of food. That's probably about it. Now, so that sounds pretty boring and awful. Remind me why they've gone down there. Well, because it keeps them safe from the tornado. Right, great. Okay. So the tornado comes over, passes through, everyone's safe, you can come back out. That was a great decision to go down there. Now, what should they do the following week if there's a little bit of wind? And what happens if they go to that underground hutch every time there's a little bit of wind? What kind of life would that look like?
Yes.
And so I guess we start to have these discussions around what a valued life looks like. And so if we want to be, on the farm and doing things and, being ourselves, we're going to need to have to tolerate a little bit of uncertainty with the weather. And he really did really well. And the last session we had together when we were sort of saying our goodbyes and all that, I said, hey, I really hope it's a windy day tomorrow. And he gave me this look of horror. He's like, you've been so nice to me, Jodie. Why would you leave me like that? And then you saw the penny drop.
Yeah.
And he I said, you can do it. See you later.
That's it. Oh, my gosh. Honestly, they are the wins, aren't they? And it just must feel incredible and also bittersweet because you've spent so much time with these young people and you connect, you get to know them and you change their lives, you change families' lives. And
you do.
It's like, yes, be free, go free and live your life and do all the things, but also, you kind of you must wonder what happens when, wonder what they're up to. But it's beautiful.
I did bump into his mum about a year ago.
Oh,
and she
wow.
said he was doing and see, this is the other thing about ACT, that the skills are so transferable.
Yes.
Like if you've got a kid that has a dog phobia and you can transfer those skills of how we expose ourselves, how we face things. Sometimes, in my training, I use another metaphor because I am an ACT therapist after all. But another metaphor I use is weight loss when I talk about how ACT differs from other types of therapy.
Yeah.
And so other types of therapy, you might do something like, I shouldn't name names, should I? But like those quick weight loss techniques that you can use, right? And you can drop 10 kilos really quickly and really effectively.
Yeah.
It might pop back on quickly. Whereas with ACT, we're talking, it's a little bit longer, it's long term, but it is lifestyle change,
Yeah.
not in terms of what you eat, but in terms of the way your mind interprets thoughts and feelings and day-to-day situations as they come in.
Yeah. It really is, and it's so transferable. Exactly what you just said, that the young person you were speaking about who has managed to managed to develop the willingness to recognise that it's a windy day. I don't like it. I can manage my distress, and I can still get out and do the things I need to do. Because it's, that other challenges that will inevitably befall that person over their life, that thinking approach and approach to challenge no matter what will go with him wherever he goes. And the weight loss metaphor is a really good one, actually, because I think everybody can relate to that. There's very, very powerful.
Just with my own anxiety, learning to think and behave like this, it's a way of thinking, and it's really been able to assist me to manage my own anxiety.
And it's an approach that even if anxiety isn't something you struggle with, it's a way of thinking that can, because sometimes the challenge you're facing is you've just got to do a boring report, or you've got, I know that obviously it's a treatment for challenges, but if you can just think to yourself, well, it's uncomfortable, I don't like it, but it's important, I need to do it, let's just get on with it, then you can take those ideas, can't you, into other aspects of your life.
Yeah. So we talked last week about the worry habits, the typical things, but also we can use these ACT strategies for just day-to-day frustrations, right? If I'm having a bad day for some reason, it can hook me in, right? Like, let's say a car cuts in front of you, you get cranky, and then you mumble under your breath, or blah, 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 and then you're horrible to your friends at work, or you're horrible to your spouse. And, these situations have a knock-on effect.
Yeah. Before we finish up, perhaps have you got anything else that I haven't asked you, or some parting sort of thoughts before we finish our conversation today? You have to say yes. It's an awful question, isn't it?
I got to think on the spot. I feel like we've covered a lot of good stuff.
We have. Yeah.
I suppose I just want to say I just love kids.
Yes.
I just do. And it's such a privilege and an honour to be someone who is in a position to shape the way they view the world in terms of managing their own difficulty.
Yeah. Yes.
Because difficulty is going to show up for all of us. And, I know we only vaguely touched on neurodivergence, but one of the reasons I love working with neurodivergent kids and teens is because often life is really hard for them. I'm not talking about just the thoughts and feelings, but, the society can be really hard to navigate when it's not set up for you. And that part of it, I know we've talked about acceptance of thoughts and feelings, but ACT is also about acceptance of me and myself, the way I view myself. And, one of the things about using ACT with neurodivergence is that you really can have that compassionate lens and that love of diversity and just a different way of looking at some of the tricky things, and through that directing towards really finding out who I am and what I like and who are my like-minded people and what makes me feel safe.
I really appreciate that you weren't thrown by that last question, even though it's just been a conversation. But sometimes I sort of think, like there might be something that's unsaid that you would like to share, and you landed on what that was for you straight away. And it's so true. Like, kids are amazing. Like, it's hard work being a parent. It's, and life can be really challenging, but people like you doing the work that you are doing are really making such an incredible difference to not just the children, but their families, and to them, not just now, but over the course of their lives. And it's just been an absolute delight talking with you, and very, very grateful to you. And I really just want anyone listening, is your book written? Who is the audience your book is written for?
So the book is written for therapists working with kids who are interested in ACT. However, I'm told that I write like I speak.
Oh, beautiful. That's the best way.
All Mum's friends have bought it. And apparently it's very user-friendly, and I'm quite sure any parents that picked it up would find lots in there. Very, very similar to the stuff that I've brought up today, and some really practical strategies. So
That's what we love. It's called Acceptance and Commitment Therapy with Children. And I really, if you've enjoyed these 2 episodes, I really encourage you to get your hands on a copy. You can jump on Amazon, buy it online, have it delivered to your door, and keep the learning going. But Jodi, I just really want to thank you so much again for your time.
You are welcome, and thank you for having me. It's been fun.
Oh, good. Me too. I've loved it. I've loved it so much. And I hope you loved it as much as I did. And I hope that you have enjoyed listening and learning from Jodi as much as I have enjoyed talking with her. So thank you for joining us for this episode. And please share this with someone that you know in your world that might benefit from it. And come and share your thoughts and ideas with me over on socials. And I'll be back with you again next week. Okay, bye. Thank you for sharing this time with me on Well, Hello Anxiety. Remember, understanding anxiety is the first step to managing it. Until next time, be gentle with yourself. Take things one moment at a time. Focus on what you can control and know that you are not alone on this journey. If you found value in today's episode, please share it with someone who might need to hear it too. I'm Dr. Jodi Richardson, and I'll meet you right back here next week.